Welcome back to our Humber News election special. Our reporters were scattered throughout the GTA last night, and we're going to take a look at more of the battles that were lost and won.
A big name for the Liberals in Scarborough Southwest reaped big results. Former Toronto Police Chief Bill Blair won a handy victory and is headed from the forest to the hill. Our reporter Nicole Williams has a story.
Absolutely, Alex. Last night's win for Bill Blair was huge, and as the riding turned back to red, everybody wanted a piece of the big winner. It was a rock star welcome for the former police chief of Toronto. Liberal candidate Bill Blair's campaign expected the win in Scarborough Southwest riding last night. As polls closed, supporters began to celebrate.
This is a very, very extraordinary night. I think it has exceeded anything any of us could have hoped for. Tomorrow, there are no Liberals and Conservatives or NDP members, there are Canadians, and we will all go forward together.
I'm delighted about it. Absolutely delighted.
The numbers have come in, and Bill Blair has taken the spot for the Scarborough Southwest riding, leaving NDP candidate Dan Harris in the dust. The NDP managed a surprise win in the 2011 election, but stood no chance against the Liberal wave that was sweeping the country.
Nobody should feel sad about what we did. This was bigger than us. There was not a thing we could have done to change the outcome tonight.
Green Party candidate and activist Tommy Taylor, who was arrested in the G20 protests, says he's skeptical about the newly elected Blair.
Knock on a lot of people's doors in Scarborough Southwest, and they would say, I'm voting Liberal because I want Justin Trudeau, I want Harper gone, but I detest Bill Blair.
However, that wasn't the case at party headquarters last night, as celebrations went into the early hours of the morning. Blair's campaign managed to avoid talking about his role in the G20 protests and carting, but we're not sure how long that's going to last. For now, we'll have to wait and see whether or not his role as police chief will translate into politics. Nicole Williams, Humber News, back to Laura and Alex.
Blair's predecessor, Julian Fantino, was in the race of a lifetime against well-known political family in Vaughan, Woodbridge. Francesco Sobrara got just enough of the vote to keep the Liberals riding the red wave in the GTA. Christine McAllister has the details.
It was a tight race between the Liberals and the Conservatives, but the Vaughan-Woodbridge riding followed suit and turned red. I was there to capture both the disappointment by the Conservatives and the celebration by the Liberals. What was supposed to be a victory turned into a concession when Associate Minister Julian Fantino lost the Vaughan-Woodbridge riding to Liberal candidate Francesco Sobrara. Fantino was visibly disappointed, but says he is proud of his campaign and his time served.
We ran an ethical campaign. Our people have been absolutely committed. And at the end of the day, you accept the results, and I certainly do.
The former MP says we're all winners because this is democracy at work.
The people of Vaughan-Woodbridge have spoken, and I leave that to their good judgment.
Fantino arrived long after his defeat was announced to a half-empty banquet hall. The atmosphere was lively at first, but began to die down once the numbers rolled in. It was a different story on the other side of the Vaughan-Woodbridge riding. Liberal candidate Francesco Sobrara says it was a long and grueling campaign, but it was well worth it.
I feel very good. I feel great. Our message resonated at the doors with the residents of Vaughan-Woodbridge.
Sobrara hopes to cut taxes for the middle class, invest in the GO Transit system, and help seniors. The newly elected MP says the shift to Liberal was indicative of the country's desire for change.
And after 10 years of Mr. Harper, people were tired of his policies and they wanted something better, something positive, and we brought that, and that was great.
It was clear the younger generations were also excited for change.
It was nerve-wracking. Yeah, so I was watching it at home, and I saw like the voting coming in, and I was like freaking out because it was off by a few hundred, and then after a while they were getting higher, and I was like, oh my god. I feel like the whole entire party just was so excited, and that's what got voters excited, and just everybody really wanted real change.
Hours after Sobrara took the win, the Liberal supporters were still celebrating the Vaughan-Woodbridge area turning red. After ousting a huge political figure, Sobrara definitely has his work cut out for him. Christina McAllister, Humber News. Back to you, Alex and Laura.
To Peel Region now, where the 905 re-established itself as a Liberal stronghold. In Brampton North, Liberal candidate Ruby Sahota ousted Conservative incumbent Parm Gill by a margin of more than 7,000 votes. Humber News' Evan Pressman has more.
Thank you, Alex. There was a nice mixture of old and young out supporting in Brampton yesterday, and the celebration turned into, well, one of the best parties around. This long election may have been a fight, but last night there was nothing but dancing and celebration at Ruby Sahota's campaign party. Sahota, who beat out former Brampton North MP Parmgill by nearly 10,000 votes, says we're headed towards a more inclusive, unified Canada.
Tonight, Canadians rejected politics of division. Canadians have chosen a message of diversity, of hope, and prosperity for the middle class.
And choose Canadians did. Voter turnout was up this time around, up over 7% from the last election. Part of that is due to Canada's youth, as Elections Canada made a concentrated effort to draw young people to the polls. Many agree that youth played an important role in Trudeau's Liberals' win.
There's a big impact here. It's an influence, it's also a motivation where our young youth and everybody should get involved in politics, should start voting out to make that difference, to make a real change.
As for Sahota, she says that good won in the end, as she killed her competition with kindness.
You know, whether it was the national campaign or our local campaigns, we tried to keep it clean all along, regardless of the nasty flyers and everything that was going out. And I really feel positivity won.
Sahota says that youth played an integral role when deciding who would win the election, and it just goes to show that young people do have a voice. Evan Pressiment, Humber News. Back to you, Alex and Laura.
Elsewhere in the West End, Mississauga Malton came to prominence this election thanks to the Conservative candidate's controversial views on conversion therapy. In the end, the scandal surrounding Jagdish Grewal would propel Liberal candidate Navdeep Baynes to a seat in the House of Commons. Dondre Stewart has the story.
Thanks, Laura. There was no real contest for the Liberals last night, and there was no lack of confidence at the Versailles Convention Centre, where Baynes celebrated his victory.
This is a look of a winner. Liberal MP Natty Baynes is back in office after a humbling loss in 2011. Baynes' Liberals had control of his former riding, Mississauga Brampton South, from 2004 before losing to the Conservatives. Baynes says it's a testament to the volunteers and supporters.
What's so amazing is that we ran a positive campaign. We stuck to our game plan. We focused on the issues that matter to Canadians. We talked about the economy, the middle class, and those that wanted to join the middle class. And I think that positive message really kept us focused and really resonated with Canadians.
Baynes' campaign party was a big turnout. Many supporters were cheering on a Liberal seats increase to a majority government. Volunteer Harjot Baynes says the campaign was a long
You get a
but
chance
fun
to meet
one.
new people, you get a chance to meet volunteers, you get a chance to meet people from the community, give back to them, hear what their concerns are, and to really come up with a plan to figure out how we can best serve them.
Baynes says he has big plans for his newly elected riding, Mississauga Malton.
With every bone in my body, that I will be your voice in Ottawa. I will fight for your issues and your priorities.
The race was expected to be a tighter one, but the Conservative Party dropped their candidate Jagdish Grewal after homophobic comments were found in the article he wrote.
Baynes spoke briefly about making immigration a top priority soon after his election. But for the time being, he was just excited to get such a positive response to his campaign. Dondre Stewart, Humber News. Now back to Laura and Alex.
So that wraps up our coverage of the 42nd federal election.
We'd like to thank Justin Ling for sharing his insight with us. Also, thank you to all of our reporters and the students in the broadcast television program.
There you have it. The 2015 federal election is in the books, and we have a new prime minister. For more coverage of last night's election, visit humbernews.ca.
Humber News is produced by students in the journalism program here at North Campus. I'm Laura De Silva.
And I'm Alex Drobin. Join us for a regular newscast tomorrow.